Today, I'm going to walk you through the principles of working with a for sale by owner. I just had a conversation this morning with a real estate agent who is telling me that he struggles with for sale by owners because his father is a flipper and never uses a real estate agent. So in his mind, he thinks that people can actually sell their house for sale by owner successfully without using an agent. Let me give you an example of thinking about for sale by owners differently. If you're a contractor and you build decks for a living and you're standing in the aisle at the local Home Depot and somebody walks in and they're looking at the lumber and you're standing there, you introduce yourself, you say, "Hi, my name's Sean. I see you're looking at some lumber today. What are you working on?" And they say, "Hey, we're going to build a deck." And you go, "Oh, that's awesome. So have you built a deck before?" And the person says, "Yes, in fact, I built many decks. I was a home builder in my previous career, and I'm gonna, use high quality lumber. I'm gonna get permits. I'm gonna do it right, and I've got a really good handle on this." Now, if I'm a contractor, I might just say, "Hey, if you need any help on that or some advice, I'd love to check out your project, see if it's something that I could help you with. And if not, good luck to you. Have a great day." Now, that gentleman walks away and another person walks in and they're looking at the wood also. And you ask them, "So what are you looking for today? Or what are you looking to build today?" And they say, "Well, in fact, I'm looking to build a deck." And you say, "Oh, that's wonderful. I'm a contractor and I build decks. So, are you looking to do it yourself or are you going to hire it out?" And they say, "No, I'm going to save the money. I'm not going to use permits. And in fact, I'm going to use the cheapest lumber and I'm not going to put it on pillars. I'm just going to put it on cinder block right on the dirt." And they just start telling you all these ways that they're going to cut corners with their deck. And you might say to that person, "I'd be happy to help you because that sounds like that deck's not going to last very long." And they say, "No, I don't really care. This property, I'm just going to sell it anyways, and I don't care if the deck falls off in a week." So that person might not be your customer. You say, I'd be happy to stop by and give you some advice, but if you think you've got it handled, good luck to you, okay? Now, the third customer walks in, and this customer, they're looking for a deck, and they're looking at the lumber, and they've got some curiosity on their face, and you ask them, "Hey, what are you looking to build today?" And they say, "Oh, I'm going to build a deck." You go, "Oh, wonderful. Have you built a deck before?" And they say, "No, we haven't built a deck at all. In fact, I just came to Home Depot because I know at Home Depot there's, lots of lumber and stuff here. Maybe somebody is selling a deck." And you go, "Well, I'm a contractor and I build decks professionally for a living. And if you're looking for a high quality deck that's going to last, I'd love to share with you what I do." And the person says, "Wonderful. I would love the help." That's the client you're looking for when you're looking for a for sale by owner. The next thing about working with for sale by owners is to remember to come from contribution. Now, we're always looking to help make an impact on our communities and to provide support. We're not trying to sell anybody anything, or we're not trying to convince them to work with us. We're just here to provide them solutions for their needs. So to make sure our head's on right when we're working with for sale by owners, or frankly any customers, we need to remember these things about what we do in our industry. That the National Association of Realtors has stated multiple years in a row that people actually net more money when they work with an agent than when they sell their home themselves. That's because agents specialize in getting the house out to the masses of the market. So it goes out nationally, worldwide, not just somebody happened to be driving by their house. Real estate agents are also experts at marketing, so they know how to position the house correctly to attract the buyer that's going to be willing to pay the top dollar for the property. Next is real estate agents help sellers avoid risk. In many cities, including ours here in Denver, there are some specific laws and rules that you have to abide by when you sell a house. Most for sale by owners don't understand these legalities, and they might try to cut a corner and create liability for them later. And what do we do as real estate agents is we ensure that everything is done correctly within our state and local guidelines to ensure that that seller is selling the house without long-term liability. This includes things like helping them prepare contracts. So keep in mind, most for sale by owners are not familiar with real estate contracts. So they really have two options. They can try to fill out the contract themselves, which is confusing and challenging, or they can hire an attorney who is going to charge them a fee no matter if the house sells at all. So I had an instance where a seller had hired an attorney to work with, and the attorney charged him $7,000 to create the contract. Well, you know exactly what happened. The deal never completed, and it fell through, and the seller still had to pay that attorney $7,000 despite the house not selling. Now, the benefit of working with an agent like us is that they only have to pay when we complete the transaction. Another thing that we offer to help our sellers that most for sale by owners don't have is the understanding of how to prep a house for sale. See, many of them are living in the house and they think their house is wonderful because they see it every day and they don't notice the odors, or they might not see the dust bunnies in the corner, or even some things that are in disarray or broken. Now, we as agents, we look at the property with the buyer's eye, with a tuned eye to look and see what the buyer's gonna see and where they're gonna see the benefits of the house and where they're gonna see the negatives. Now, our job is to repair or soften the negatives as best we can to be able to present the house in the best way possible. Now, most for sale by owners don't have the ability to do this because they have a blind eye. We call it the ugly baby syndrome, right? They love their baby. Their house is their beautiful baby, yet when we see the house, we see the flaws that they might not see. The other thing we do as real estate agents is we help sellers price their property accurately. There's actually psychological reasons why people struggle with pricing their own things, because internally we value things we own greater than somebody who doesn't own it. So we put our own value into it. And this increases even more when we've actually did the work. So if we painted the bathroom or installed the tile floor, we feel the value is higher than even if somebody else did the work and we paid for it. So because of this principle, we take a step back from the property and we're able to give it a critical eye and logically help them come to the accurate pricing to get that house sold. And the last thing we do better than anybody else is we know how to identify the target audience for that property and zone in on that to attract that buyer to the house. See, our job is to get eyeballs online and then get leads coming in, convert those leads to showing, and then the right buyer to write an offer. That's how you get the highest price for the house. And most for sale by owners do not have experience in knowing how to market, attract and convert leads, and get them to the house so they can write an offer. The reason we prospect for sale by owners is because the worst thing they could do is pick a bad agent in a weak moment. Because if we're not out there prospecting them, they're going to end up picking somebody who just randomly shows up, who doesn't have the expertise that you do or the commitment that you do to help them get the right price for that home. Now, what's the best script to get in front of these for sale by owners? Well, here's my favorite. And I want you to think about when you're working in a territory or an area that you specialize in that area. And because you're a real estate agent that specializes in that area, you owe it to yourself and to your customers to know the inventory of every home that's in that area that's for sale. So a for sale by owner is a home that's in the area that's for sale. So again, we're going to come from contribution, and our goal is to see the inventory so we can match it to potential buyers that we're attracting each and every day through our marketing and through our open houses. Here's the script. Hi, my name is Sean. I see you have a property for sale in Applewood. The reason I'm calling is I'm a real estate agent that specializes in the area, and I would love to see the property to see if it matches any of the buyers that I might have looking. See, I consistently market in the area through my open houses and my online marketing, and I might have a buyer who might be interested in your home. I would like to see if the features of your home match the list of features my buyers are looking for. I'll be in the area tonight around 5 o'clock. Can I stop in before or after 5 o'clock? That simple script will oftentimes get you in front of a seller. Don't worry if they say that they're not interested in working with a real estate agent, because that property might match a buyer you have coming to your open house. And one of my favorite open house scripts are, have you seen the property on 123 Main Street? It's not on the market. It's listed for sale by owner, but I already toured that property and it might be a great fit for you. So use these properties as opportunities to convert your open house leads. Now that you're at the property, we have to have a great conversation with our for sale by owners and show them that we're coming from a place of contribution, that we're not there just to get the listing, and we're actually interested in helping them get their home sold, even if they choose to sell it themselves. So here's how the process starts. You're going to introduce yourself at the door and obviously ask for a tour of the property. While you're touring the property, you're going to ask a series of simple questions. Your first question is going to be, how many calls have you gotten this week? This is going to open up a dialogue about the activity that they're driving to their property. Your next question is going to be, how many of those were real estate agents that were just looking to get your listing? See, what we're going to do is we're going to narrow from, they might say that they had 10 calls, but 8 of those calls were people who were just interested in trying to list their home. The next question, obviously, is how many of those were qualified buyers? And then lastly, how many actually showed up to see your home? We're going to start opening up a dialogue, because here's what they're going to find out, is that even if they got 10 calls, most of them were agents just trying to get their listing. They might have got a call from a couple buyers, but those buyers didn't actually show up to the property. And you know what they didn't get? They didn't get any calls from real estate agents that were actually interested in showing the home. Now we're going to take a minute. We're going to explain that very softly and very politely. Here's how we do that. So I understand that you had 2 buyers call you. Can I ask you a question? What type of buyers were they? See, we notice that there's really 3 types of buyers that are in the market. The first type of buyer is an investor who is just looking to pick up your house for pennies on the dollar. Did you get some of those calls? Yeah, I get those too. Would you just tell them, no, I'm not interested, and just move on? Yeah, that's the right response. The second type of buyer is people who are interested, but they have something going on. Maybe they're thinking about moving here and they're still living out of state, or maybe they have a house to sell, or sometimes they have financing issues and they're asking you to carry back the mortgage or do something that, might not suit your needs at this time. Yeah, you get a couple of those. Yeah, you're going to get those calls too. And then the third type of buyer, which is the one you want, is the serious and ready buyers. That's your buyers that they've already sold their home. They've already decided to move, and they've already gotten pre-qualified, and they're ready to make an offer this weekend. See, those buyers, those are the ones that we all want to work with. How many of those called? None? Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say that. Let me explain why. The reason you're not getting serious and ready buyers is because serious and ready buyers typically work with a buyer's agent. Here's why. They have to go out and look at many properties in a very short period of time. See, they might be getting relocated here and they have a weekend to find the right home. And they don't have time to call for sale by owners and try to coordinate showings and have difficult conversations with people that, let's just be honest, aren't always the nicest. So they hire a buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent looks through properties that they think are going to fit the buyer's needs. They narrow those up and they show them as many houses as they can in a short period of time to give them enough time to look at the houses, write an offer, and have them under contract before they have to get back on the plane and fly back to where they're coming from. Now, these serious and ready buyers, they often are the ones that we want because they're willing to pay top dollar for the property because they need to move now. Now, I get what you're thinking. You're offering a buyer co-op, so of course you're open to working with buyer's agents, but buyer's agents aren't calling you, and they're certainly not calling you with serious and ready buyers. Why is that? Well, there's 3 reasons, Mr. For Sale by Owner, why agents don't show for sale by owners. The first one, which is the most common, is they have to show many properties in a very short period of time. And a lot of for sale by owners, maybe not you, tend to not answer their phone, and they screen their calls, and they make it very challenging to coordinate a showing on the property. The second reason is, and frankly this is more common than not, is that many for sale by owners are just difficult to work with. They have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and some of them just don't like real estate agents. And so real estate agents have learned over time to avoid the pain, and so they just don't call for sale by owners because they don't want to subject themselves, and they certainly don't want to subject their client to an emotionally triggered seller. And then the third and the last reason is many real estate agents negotiate their commission into the offer. And there has been cases in the past where for sale by owners are just not willing to pay a commission. So real estate agents just tend to work with other real estate agents through properties that are on the MLS because it's more common to be able to negotiate the buyer agent compensation into the agreement. So for those three reasons, buyer's agents with serious and ready buyers just avoid for sale by owners. And this is why the National Association of Realtors has shown year over year that when a seller works with an agent, they oftentimes net more money than they would if they even sold it themselves. Now at this point, they're probably going to mention something about not wanting to pay commission. And here's my favorite way to handle that conversation. You say, Mr. For Sale by Owner, I understand. I noticed in the driveway you have a brand new vehicle. Now, let me ask you, did you buy that at the dealership? Yeah, of course you did. And did you pay pretty close to retail price for it? I'm sure you did. Now, if you took that truck and you put it in your driveway, you cleaned it up just brand new, just as clean as it is with a few miles on it that you've put on it since you bought it, and you put it in the driveway and you put a for sale sign on it, and even marketed it on the local websites, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, all the places that you have access to, even if you were able to market it on cars.com. What type of buyers would come to buy your car? People that are looking for a discount, people that are looking to take advantage of somebody who in a weak moment makes a weak decision. That's the type of buyers that are going to be attracted to somebody who's selling a car for sale by owner, right? They're just looking for a deal. Now, let me ask you this. If you took that truck and you drove it right back to the lot where you bought it in, and you parked it in the exact same spot that you bought it, what would the dealership sell the car for? Well, they would probably sell it for maybe a few thousand less than you paid for a brand new truck. Why is that? Because serious and ready buyers go to dealerships. They expect to pay more because of the service and the response and the convenience of the dealership. See, that's why dealerships sell their cars for more money than people that sell their cars on the street. It's just simple math. And the last thing you need to do is simply make them an offer for a meeting. I just simply ask, Mr. For Sale by Owner, where do you want to go from here? Would you be open to me sitting down with you and sharing what I do to get homes sold? You can use the things I share with you, even if you decide to continue to sell your house yourself. I just feel like it's my duty to help the sellers in my area get the most money for their property. I just really hate to see you get taken advantage of in a weak moment or hire a weak agent when you're feeling desperate. How about tonight at 4 o'clock? Would that be a good time for us to sit down and I'll share with you everything I do to get homes sold? And that's it. No matter what they say, it doesn't hurt you. Our goal is not to get every listing appointment. Our goal is to help as many people as we can. And if they say yes, wonderful. And if they decide to continue to sell it themselves, then that's great too. It's not on us. Our job is to offer our services with great contribution and intention in mind and with a smile on our face. Good luck to you and have a great job working with For Sale by Owners.